Division. A division question can be phrased in different ways. It may say, Bill has 39 sweets and has 3 friends. He shares these sweets out equally between the 3 friends. How many sweets does each friend have? So you should write it like this. Okay, so now what we do is we find out how many times the number on the outside goes into each number on the inside. So we'll start off with the 3 of 39. How many times does the 3 on the outside go into the 3? 3 times 1 is 3, so 3 goes in once. Now we do the 9 in 39. How many times does 3 go into 9? 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. So there's our answer, 13. Okay, a slightly different type of question here. How many times does 3 go into 3? So once again we're finding how many times the number on the outside goes into the number on the inside. So 3 goes into 3 once. 3 times 1 is 3. How many times does 3 go into 7? Now 7 isn't a exact multiple of 3, so we need to find the nearest multiple of 3. So we know that 3 times 2 is 6, and that's the nearest. So now we need to find out the difference between the number there and the multiple. So 7 take away 6, which is 3 times 2, is 1. So okay, so we put a 1 next to the number on the right. Now we need to find out, rather than finding out how many times 3 goes into 0, we need to find out how many times 3 goes into 10. So once again, it isn't an exact multiple, so we need to find the nearest. 3 times 3 is 9. And there's a remainder of 1. So we write R1. Okay, so there's a chance you may be given two decimal numbers to divide with each other. The trick here is to try and eliminate the decimal point. So what we need to do is move the decimal point right by an equal number on both numbers. So in this case, if we move the decimal point once to the right on both numbers, it becomes a whole number. So then we continue like we did before. We write it out like this. How many times does 2 go into 6? 3 times. How many times does 2 go into 4? 2 times. The answer is 32. Okay. So as usual, we're finding how many times the number on the outside goes in the number on the inside. So how many times does 4 go into 4? Once. 4 times 1 is 4. Now, how many times does 4 go into 2? The answer is 0, because the lowest multiple of 4 is 4, and that's bigger than 2, so no 4s go into 2, so you put 0. Now, because we put a 0 there, rather than finding how many 4s go into the last 2 of 422, instead we find out how many 4s go in 22. That's what we do when we get a 0. So once again, this is not an exact multiple of 4, but we know the closest is 20, which is 4 times 5, so we put 5 down. Okay, earlier we put remainders, and in this case, if you're going to do it the remainder method, then you'd write R2, because 4 times 5 is 20, but we need 22, so remainder 2. But depending on your exam, you may be required to know decimal point answers. So what we do is, we put 0.0 down there, and we put a point at the top. Okay, so now going back, remember 4 times 5 we got 20, but we're meant to have 22, so we bring the 2 across, next to the 0. How many times does 4 go into 20? 5 times. You may have to repeat and put more zeros at the bottom. It depends on the question, really. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to check out our other videos.